on ABC-7 at 5.
Exciting day. We have a lot to be thankful for in terms of honoring our past. We're very excited about the present, and the future is extremely bright.
The downtown streetcars are back and ready to go, and ABC-7 was there as they made their return to the streets of El Paso. Plus,
I was the driver from 1962 to 74.
blast from the past. We speak to those who once dominated the downtown streets as he steered the original streetcars. And in Storm Talk Weather, Doppler.
Well, you know, the weekend not looking too bad. We're going to gradually start to warm those temperatures up, see more sunshine across the area. But next week, some big changes. I'll talk about it coming up.
Also bracing for the cold as dozens of asylum seekers wait for days in hopes of entering the U.S. A new challenge lies ahead. How the Mexican Red Cross is stepping in to help. ABC-7 at 5 starts now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 5.
Back on track. The same streetcars that roamed the streets of downtown El Paso decades ago, now fully refurbished and ready for passengers to board. The $97 million streetcar project coming to fruition today as the city officially re-debuting the streetcars. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us for ABC-7 at 5. I'm Estela Casas. A project years in the making, now a reality. Starting just now at 5 o'clock, passengers are able to board the streetcars, and we're bringing you live special coverage throughout the evening. We have Eric Elkin live anchoring in the field, actually riding the trolleys as they go through their very first route, and Saul Sainz focusing on the changes from decades ago to now. Let's start with Eric Elkin, who just got on board the trolley.
Hey Estelle, yeah, we are officially just on the move, just made a stop a moment ago. We are on streetcar 1504 with our driver Maria, and this has just been a really exciting long time coming for the city of El Paso to get these streetcars back on the streets and officially on the move. Now I may have to grab hold of the handrail here every once in a while, but we are officially on the move. There are passengers on board for the first time. They were able to get on board right at 5 o'clock. Now, the 3 streetcars were introduced this morning, bringing back the days of old when streetcars were the norm. Now, taking it all in was ABC-7 Saul Sainz, along with some other guys who know their way around the old streetcars.
Hey guys, I got to show you this real quick. These folks right here are waiting for their very first ride. They expect it'll happen any minute now, so we'll be here when that trolley arrives. Now, I did talk to those old guys that you're talking about. Those are the original streetcar riders, drivers rather. But one of the things that they tell me that has changed from before versus now is the price.
I was the driver from 1962 to 74 when we went out on the strike.
From 1965 to 1973.
What do you think about reviving the streetcar, what they're doing now?
I'm pretty happy about it because I like to see those streetcars running like they used to.
These were the men who once dominated the downtown landscape with the original streetcars. Before streetcars would cross the bridge into Juarez and back, the cost of riding a trolley today will be $1.50 one way, $3.50 to ride the trolley all day. What was the cost of riding a trolley back then?
Coming from Juarez, it was 2 pennies, 2 cents. And then from El Paso to Juarez, it was 10 cents.
What do you think the safety issues were back then?
Not that many.
No?
No, not.
Why is that?
Because the equipment was old and we had to be very careful.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge back then?
The traffic. The traffic, really, because you had to keep an eye on them because they would get right in front of you and you couldn't, sometimes you couldn't stop the trolley. I
asked both men if they would be ready and willing to get behind the controls of today's trolley. Both answered the same.
Yes, sir, anytime.
Now, these folks are still waiting for their trolley ride. We'll let you know when they get to hop on one. Now, I was able to get on one, and much of the inner workings of the trolleys have changed. I'll have that part of the story on ABC-7 at 6. For now, we're live in downtown Saul Sainz, ABC-7.
Okay, yes, so thank you very much. We just made a stop actually and picked up a few more passengers here. Again, they just were able to get on for the first time at 5 o'clock. We are moving down Oregon Street, and the Hospitals of Providence Memorial Campus is where we're at right now. But family and friends are also remembering a man who played a key role in making the streetcars a reality. R.L. Rui Thomas passed away back in October in California. He was a graduate of Irvine High School and was a co-founder of the Paseo del Norte Streetcar Preservation Society. Family and friends stated in his obituary on Legacy that he provided a historical background on the trolleys and helped to find the resources to restore the trolleys and preserve them for decades to come. And his memorial was held today at the Evergreen Cemetery. Thomas was 68 years old. Now, the streetcars complete a 4.8-mile route in 2 loops through El Paso's uptown and downtown. We started in the uptown. We're making our way down Oregon Street right now. We do want to give you a look at what those 2 loops look like. Both interconnect at an international bridge. The route passes through several businesses, restaurants, the downtown ballpark, UTEP, and several other places. Now, if you do ride the streetcars, you can also transfer to a Sun Metro bus or Brio to get to other locations outside of downtown as well. And we are bringing you special complete coverage. I need to keep holding on to this railing because there is a little bit of the stop and go. That's why they have these in place. So if you're not sitting down, you can stand up as well. These are just beautiful streetcars. Again, we are on streetcar 1504. We're giving you in-depth coverage throughout ABC-7 at 5 as well as ABC-7 at 6. We're going to stay on this streetcar and continue to deliver you this route and bring you some special coverage, including an interview with a person who was key in getting these streetcars back on track, Ted Houghton. I've got an interview coming up with him in just a few minutes. But for now, let's send it back to Estella.
How fun is that? Okay, Selwyn and Eric, thank you. Storm Talk weather now. Let's get our first forecast from Chief Meteorologist Doppler Spielman. Doppler.
Yeah, cool day today, but you know, the good news is we're towards the weekend now, and we're going to gradually start to warm things up and then start to see a good amount of sunshine, especially by Sunday. So, you know, the wind's going to be up a little bit. So if you're going to be heading to the Friday night football games, you know, grab a blanket, take your jacket along. You'll appreciate that for tonight. Slight warm up as we make our way through the weekend, and then next week, not only our first freeze, but we could be talking about a hard freeze across parts of town. We're 54 in Las Cruces, 56 up at the area lakes. Beautiful there at Elephant Butte Lake. We have 56 out at the airport. Notice Sierra Blanca at 47. We got 43 out there in Van Horn. And if you check out temperatures across the region, we got 45 up in Amarillo. Look at Dallas at 49 there. San Antonio at 56. And we have 70s from Yuma to Phoenix and Tucson. But we'll talk about just how cold it will get next week. That's all coming up.
Okay, Doppler, thank you. El Paso's downtown bridge has been cleared of asylum seekers. The Mexican Red Cross in Juarez has moved nearly 200 asylum seekers from the bridge, where many had been camping for days, into a migrant shelter, citing the cold expected tonight. ABC-7's Julio Cesar Chavez was there as the migrants were moved.
Well, hi, Estella. Nearly all asylum seekers downtown will be sleeping at a shelter tonight. Customs and Border Protection officials have said that they have not had room to process asylum claims as they come in for months, and the backlog has only grown. The Paso del Norte Bridge downtown has been filled with asylum seekers waiting to be allowed into the United States for weeks. The Mexican Red Cross, who's been coordinating care of migrants waiting to cross over, said the move came to keep people out of the 40-degree cold expected for tonight. The main worry migrants shared with Red Cross workers was keeping their place in line. Some had been waiting for more than a week. Those with children said they would prefer being shuttled to a shelter to keep the kids in good conditions. Local director for the Red Cross said it's all being done to keep these migrants safe.
Básicamente es su seguridad y su salud.
He said lack of available hygiene, poor food, and cold all pose a risk to those waiting on the bridge, dangers the Casa del Migrante will address and help with. Now, Juarez Mayor Armando Cavada told me that the Red Cross, the Casa del Migrante, and the city will all be coordinating with American authorities to take people to the bridge once space opens up. Estella, back to you.
Okay, Julio Cesar. President Trump has ordered that starting tomorrow, asylum will only be claimed at ports of entry, not to Border Patrol agents at open areas of the border. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has called the American reception capacity, quote, insufficient. We're keeping you ahead of any problems on the road with the ABC-7 traffic track report at 9 minutes past 5 o'clock. There's a slowdown that we've been telling you about since 4 o'clock. This is traffic that is eastbound. There's something going on I-10 and Sunland Park around that area, but we aren't sure what is going on because there are no flashing lights that we can see there at mile marker 14, but there is something definitely going on. Rush hour traffic has started. And if you're just joining us, my co-anchor Eric Elkin is on a special assignment. He's one of the first passengers on board one of the fully refurbished streetcars making its way through downtown El Paso. He joins us now live. Eric.
Hey, Estella, we're continuing our ride on streetcar number 1504 down Oregon Street, making our way closer to downtown. It has been a fun ride so far. The seats are very comfortable, by the way. Coming up, though, this project cost millions of dollars, has been years in the making. We're going to break down the cost. Plus, I'm going to be sitting down one-on-one with the man who was key in getting these streetcars back on the tracks and getting that funding.
Okay, we'll check in with you later. That is a cool ride this afternoon. Well, also coming up in storm track weather, make sure to have your jackets ready as you head on out this Friday evening. Doppler Dave has a look ahead.
It's going to be a little chilly for the Friday night football games. Here's your temperatures on the northeast side of town. Powell at 53, Burnett 54, Texas Tech right now at 55 degrees. We're going to have some breezes out there as well, especially on the west side of town. So you'll need to bundle up heading out tonight. We'll talk about your weekend, just how warm it will get. So coming up, so.
This is ABC-7 at 5, where news comes first.
I'm a local photographer. I focus on photographing the streets of El Paso and Juarez. So a street photographer is a photographer that likes to document the street, anything that might happen on the street. I think I've been enjoying shooting the streetcar at night. There's a few photos I've done of it at night, and it would be great if it was at night. Maybe some like a composition with the city in the back, and then of course people on it, the people of El Paso on it. And so maybe in the foreground we'd have the streetcar, some people on it. In the background we might have a nice cityscape of El Paso. That'd be pretty cool.
Day for the city of El Paso today, unveiling the fully refurbished streetcars. This project has been years in the making. El Paso saw its first streetcar back in 1882, and for decades after that, it was an integral part of the city. But the streetcar stopped in 1974 as buses came more popular. The effort to bring the trolleys back began in 2012. TxDOT put in a grand total of $97 million into the project, and the city put in $4.5 million for the study. My co-anchor Eric Elkin is anchoring in the field this evening. He joins us now alongside Ted Houghton. Eric.
We are on streetcar 1504, making our way through downtown now, and I am joined by Ted Houghton, who was the former chairman of the Texas Transportation Commission. Ted, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, glad to be here. This is a historic event.
Yeah, what is this like right now? I mean, you're sitting on a streetcar, driving through downtown with passengers getting on board now. What are the emotions going through you right now?
Well, one of the emotions is I used to ride this streetcar with my grandfather some 60 years ago. So it's very, I mean, it's nostalgia throws you way back. But to see this happening again, not only here in El Paso, but across the country, streetcars are being put back into communities where they flourished at one point in time.
What does the buzz from the community mean to you that people are jumping on board this and are excited about?
Well, it's just, like I said earlier today, it's another piece of the transformation of El Paso, specifically downtown El Paso. Like the ballpark, we've seen that happen. Like this, now like the multi-purpose arena that had a great leap by a court ruling, earlier. So we're going to see a lot of things like this happen. But this is a slice of another piece in the intricacy of making things happen downtown.
That being said, it's impossible to make everyone happy. Not everyone would think this would be a good use of taxpayer money. So what do you say to those people?
Well, you can't make them all happy, but this is part of a community's soul. And this was the soul of this community years and years back in the 50s, back before then. When you look at historic pictures, it's part of the soul of any good solid downtown, and this is going to change it very quickly.
The fact that you're able to get the $97 million for the funding to get this thing on the ground and running again is obviously one phase of this. Now there's money that needs to be spent to keep it going by the city, but this is part of a bigger economic development plan. Describe that.
Well, bigger economic development plan, one of the next things, like I said, is the multi-purpose arena. The other is capping Interstate Highway 10 through downtown and putting a park on top of it so it connects your Sunset Heights, UTEP, Community College, Kern Place. So that's the next, I think, big thing for this community.
So, I mean, where do you envision? I mean, you had to have a vision to get to where we are now. What do you see the vision being for 5, 10 years down the road of what El Paso will look like?
Well, I think it's going to look a lot different. It's going to be more of an attraction downtown. A lot of people, you'll see more restaurants. I think you're going to see a lot more people living downtown with apartments that'll come out of the ground. And we're going to have a new soccer stadium downtown. You got your baseball stadium. So that just attracts and brings not only businesses, restaurants, hotels, as we're seeing in the Plaza Hotel, the Camino Hotel, the Marriott, you know, this Stanton House we're going to pass here in just a few minutes. So it's all exciting. Lot of changes coming.
Well, Ted Howden, we certainly appreciate you taking a little bit of the ride with us and giving us a few minutes of your time. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back.
Well, you know, if you'll be heading out tonight, I know it's Friday night, a lot of you folks are going to be heading out to dinner, go check out a movie. Of course, we got the Friday night football games, and if you're going to be heading to the games, take along a jacket and a blanket. We're looking at kickoff temperature right around 52 degrees, and at halftime at 47. So, you know, the wind's going to be up just a little bit, maybe some gusts at about 25, maybe 30 at times. So that will add a little bit of a bite to those temperatures. We're 53 right now out in Las Cruces. We have 56 up at the area lakes. Out at the airport, we're 56, 46 degrees out there in Culberson County and Van Horn, and up in Otero County, Alamogordo at 54, while Reynosa at 34 degrees. So here's your weekend. We're going to get right to it. 62 degrees expected for tomorrow. We'll start off at right around 40. Some clouds early on in the morning. Then we get around lunchtime, early afternoon. The clouds will break and move out of here, and we should see a good bit of sunshine. 70 degrees expected on your Sunday. So as you can see, got Veterans Day. Sunday is going to be the nicest day of the weekend. That is if you like warmer temperatures and more sun. All right, Las Cruces for you at 60. Your high temp will make it up to 68 degrees. Our latest future track computer model depicts the clouds hanging around the area at 7:30 tomorrow morning, but watch as we make our way throughout the morning hours. The clouds going to lift from the south to the north, and by the afternoon, evening, we're going to be looking nice. We'll have a good bit of sunshine. We'll have clear skies in here for your Saturday night and a nice looking Sunday. But then hold on, because we got this front coming through here, and this front is going to bring some much colder air in place, and that's going to set the stage for not only our first freeze, but perhaps a hard freeze. 72 or 27 degrees for El Paso. This is going to be Tuesday morning. 21 for you folks in Las Cruces, and of course the big football game taking place as well. We're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Overnight, temperatures down to 40, 62 anticipated for tomorrow. Las Cruces for you at 37. Your high temp will make it up to 60 degrees. And watch over the next several days. We go 70 on Sunday, 50 on Monday. There's that cold air behind the front. And then hang in there. We warm up into the 60s by Thursday and Friday. We'll take a break. More news after this.
Streetcars that are now en route in downtown El Paso are the very same ones that rolled into the tracks of downtown El Paso back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. The trolleys were sent to Brookville, Pennsylvania for a complete restoration. The cars still have the same color scheme as before, but with added LED lights, Wi-Fi and air conditioning. Our special coverage of the streetcar launch continues throughout our later newscast. And coming up on ABC-7 at 6, we take you behind the lens with a photographer who followed the streetcars throughout the many nights of testing to find that perfect shot. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You know, not a bad weekend. We'll warm up to 70 on Sunday, and then we're going to be talking about the winds picking up Monday as we're going to see this next cold front drive through here. So that's what's going to give us the potential for not only a first freeze, but a hard freeze.
It is cold. It's cold outside tonight. Hey, how about those streetcars?
You know, they look great. Be fun to ride on. Look at that.
There we go. This is a live picture right now from the streetcar launch that happened today at 11 o'clock. And we will continue our special coverage on ABC-7 at 6 and 10. We'll see you then.